What's going on, guys? This is another episode here in Nolan's Pod. We are back discussing the NFL playoffs again. Now, being that I've had to miss some games that went on this weekend because of work, I am never gonna I am never gonna um I'm never gonna break it down for you guys if I miss a game or I just see some highlights. I have to be able to watch. I like to be able to watch a full game and then give you guys the feedback on what happened. So being that I had to miss a few games this weekend because of work, I was able to catch the game last night with the Rams and the Vikings. I was able to watch that game in its entirety. So I'm gonna give you guys that game. But all in all, great playoff weekend, great wild card weekend. Teams did what they need to do. Um, and you have the Bills. They defeated Denver, which they should have. We all suspected that. Baltimore beat up Pittsburgh, which they should have. We all expected that. Um, we did not expect Houston to upset the Chargers. We all thought, me included, we all thought, oh, the Chargers have this game. This is like a bye week for the Chargers. And Justin Herbert threw 4 interceptions. Justin Herbert threw 4 interceptions on Saturday. And Justin Herbert all year only had 3 interceptions in the regular season. And on Saturday, in the biggest playoff game, he threw 4. That's crazy. Then you had rookie Jaden Daniels continue to do what he does, quarterbacking for the Washington Commanders. He goes down to Florida to beat the Tampa Bay, I should say, to beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The rookie goes to Tampa Bay and beats the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This kid, man, he has it. We've been saying it all year long. He has it, and then we kind of questioned, will he go beat Tampa Bay in his first playoff game? He answered those questions. He put that narrative to bed. He went down there. He did it. Now he has to go up to Detroit and try to defeat Detroit, which is a tall task. I want Detroit to win, but I am not doubting Jaden Daniels. I am not doubting, especially with Detroit's injuries on the defensive side of the ball, which we will get into that in a minute for Detroit. But I would not doubt it at all. And then you have the Philadelphia Eagles. They defeated the Philadelphia Eagles defeated the Green Bay Packers, which we suspected that they would. Even though I said that just don't be surprised if the Green Bay Packers pull off an upset, which they didn't. Jordan Love was not good in that game, and the Philadelphia Eagles defense just proved why they were the best defense in the league this year. So the game that I'm going to give you guys that I watched last night was the Minnesota Vikings and the Los Angeles Rams. Obviously, they were playing at a neutral site because of the California wildfires. And first and foremost, I should have addressed this in the beginning of the video, but I'm addressing it now. Our heart goes out to the people in the city of California who are facing a time where you just don't think that you would be facing a time that these people are facing in California. You never think that you see the city down like this and the city in destruction. They have to put out all these fires. First and foremost, my heart goes out to the families that are impacted by this. It's a sad situation. You never ever want to see this. And being that most of the people in these areas that the fires are going on, being that most of the areas that they live in it's rich people that can afford these things and can afford these houses that are catching on fire, that still does not put it past us to pray for these people, even though they are rich. Most of these people are rich. We pray for these people too. They are still people. They are still human. They have belongings. Some people that they've lost. Some people have lived in these houses for years, and years. And some people have lost their childhood homes. I know Steve Kerr, coach for the Warriors, lost his childhood home. I know J.J. Redick lost his home. And my heart goes out to J.J. Redick because he has 2 kids, a wife, and a family, which most of these other people, they do have families and they have kids and they have their significant others. So, my heart goes out to them. They kind of got back to a sense of normalcy yesterday with having the Lakers play and having the Clippers play. They hadn't played, those 2 teams had not played since last week, so they're kind of getting back to some normalcy here. And as we always say, man, the best distraction, just like COVID-19, the best distraction during COVID was sports. So, that's the best distraction. We said that during COVID-19, and that was the best distraction. Same thing with these wildfires. The best distraction to just kind of get our minds off it just for a second is sports. And like I keep saying, my heart goes out to those people that are affected by this. You never want to see that. And you never think that will ever happen to you or your home or anybody for that matter. So we're praying for you guys. We know LA is going to come back strong. We know y'all going to come back better than ever. And like I keep saying, the best distraction is sports. So without further ado, we're going to get right into it. So, as I told you guys, Los Angeles Rams, Minnesota Vikings, they played at a neutral site, which was in Arizona, at the stadium that the Arizona Cardinals usually play in. These 2 teams played in. Shout out to the Arizona Cardinals and their franchise for hosting this game. Sam Darnold was the talk of the NFL season. By far. He surprised us. He shocked us all. We couldn't believe that he was having this great of a season. The game that they won, 3 weeks ago, he was mobbed because they clinched the playoff spot. And he was mobbed. And on the video, you can see Kevin O'Connell, head coach of the Minnesota Vikings, shaking his head like, why are we mobbing him? Why are we celebrating? We have to go to Detroit the next week to try to get the number 1 seed, which they didn't because they lost horribly. And then you got this playoff game where they lost. Not only did they lose this playoff game, Sam Darnold did not play well in this playoff game. He did not play well when they had a chance to clinch the number 1 seed in Detroit. So, them celebrating early about making the playoffs and mobbing Sam Darnold and Kevin O'Connell shaking his head like, what the hell are we doing? Why are we doing this? The season's not over with. We had the bigger picture. And now, to be honest, a lot of people really prayed on Sam Darnold's downfall. In these last 2 games, the prayers worked because he was horrible the last 2 games. Sam Darnold in this game was 25 of 40 in passing attempts. He threw it 40 times. He completed 25 of them. 245 yards, 1 touchdown. He threw 1 interception. He had 4 carries for 19 yards. He fumbled the ball once, and he was sacked 9 times. I knew he got sacked 5 times. I did not know that Sam Darnold got sacked 9 times. I knew he got sacked 5 times. Okay, 9 times? I had to go back and look at and see if I was just seeing things or if I was just looking at the wrong stat. 9 times? Half of it was the Minnesota Vikings offensive line was not good last night. Half of it is Sam Darnold throw the freaking ball away. Do what you've been doing the whole season. If you don't have it, don't hold on to the ball. The other part of it is Minnesota Vikings offensive line was pretty solid all year. Last night they weren't. And then that Detroit game, like Sam Darnold, he just didn't play well. He overthrew a lot of people in that Detroit game. Like he showed the shell of his old self. And just 2 weeks ago, we're saying, does J.J. McCarthy need to be traded? Let me just give you guys the rundown in this game before I even get into all that. Aaron Jones, 13 carries for 48 yards, 3 receptions for 12 yards. Cam Akers, 5 carries for 39 yards. T.J. Hockenson had 5 receptions for 64 yards and 1 touchdown for T.J. Hockenson. Justin Jefferson, 5 receptions for 58 yards. Jalen Naylor, 3 receptions for 33 yards. Jordan Addison, 3 receptions for 29 yards. On third down, the Minnesota Vikings were 6 of 17 on third down. That's not good. They only had 2 penalties in this game. 2. They only had 2 penalties in this game, did the Minnesota Vikings. The Rams had 10 penalties in this game. So you only had 2 penalties in this game if you're in the Minnesota Vikings. You didn't make many mistakes as far as flags did. The Rams had 10 of them, and you couldn't take advantage of that. The Minnesota Vikings had 106 rushing yards. The Minnesota Vikings also gave up a touchdown on special teams. And off of the 9 sacks that Sam Darnold got sacked, the Minnesota Vikings lost 82 yards off of the 9 sacks that Sam Darnold took. That's definitely not good. For the Los Angeles Rams, Matthew Stafford was 19 of 27. Matthew Stafford only had to throw the ball 27 times. That's it. Only 27 times that Matthew Stafford had to throw the ball to Sam Darnold's 40. The Rams had a run game in this game. Kyren Williams had 16 carries for 76 yards. He also had 3 receptions for 16 yards, and he had 1 touchdown. Matthew Stafford threw him a touchdown, and that made it 7-0. Rams at the time. Matthew Stafford was 19-27, 2 touchdowns, 209 yards for Matthew Stafford. He was sacked 2 times to Sam Darnold's 9 times being sacked. Tyler Higbee had 5 receptions for 58 yards. Puka Nacua had 5 receptions for 44 yards. He had 1 carry for 7 yards. Cooper Kupp had 1 reception for 29 yards. Davis Allen had 1 reception for 13 yards and a touchdown. Jared Verse forced a fumble, and he got a fumble recovery and took it to the house for a touchdown. The Rams had 10 penalties, as I mentioned, and the Rams were 2 of 10 on third down. 2 of 10 on third down were the Rams. The Minnesota Vikings, as I mentioned, was 6 of 17 on third down. So you couldn't even take advantage of your third down plays. The Rams had a smart game plan in this game. Run the ball. And when Matthew Stafford has it, let him throw the ball because you know he's going to hit guys on the bullet, which he did. So the Rams had a pretty good game plan in this game. I mean, you know, Kyren Williams caught a touchdown. Davis Allen caught a touchdown. Jared Verse had a fumble recovery and forced Sam Darnold to fumble, and he took it to the house. And then the Rams defensively, they got after it defensively, only allowing a high-powered offense, and the Minnesota Vikings, who had a high-powered offense all year, to only have 9 points in this game. Not to mention, as I mentioned, that they've gotten Sam Darnold on the ground 9 times in this game with 9 sacks. That's incredible. 9 sacks. You really have to give credit to this Rams team for how they came out, how they fought, and how they played in the circumstances that they were in. And not only, these guys weren't only just focused on football, they are focused on their families too because of these wildfires that's going on. So you really have to give credit where credit is due to the Los Angeles Rams for stepping up to the plate and playing a football game in these unprecedented times that they're going through. Sean McVay found a way to do it again. He's a coaching magician, a coaching wizard, if you like to say. He just knows how to prepare his teams. He knows how Sean McVay, I'm an idiot. Sean McVay knows how to prepare his teams. Sean McDermott coaches the Buffalo Bills. Sean McVay is the head coach of the Los Angeles Rams. My bad, I'm an idiot. Sean McVay knows how to prepare his teams. He's been there, done that. They won a championship with him and Matt Stafford just 4 years ago. So they know what it takes to get there. I'm more disappointed in the Minnesota Vikings than I am of the Los Angeles Rams winning this game. And the reason because, you know, it was only a matter of time that Sam Darnold was going to fall back into his old self. The last 2 games, he was not good. Like I mentioned, in that Detroit game that they lost, they had a chance to get the number 1 seed. Sam Darnold was overthrowing guys left and right. Every time you look around, and then you have an injury-riddled Detroit defense that you should have been able to take advantage of, and how the Detroit defense played the Minnesota Vikings in that game. You would have thought that the Detroit defense was healthy in that game, and they weren't. You have to give Aaron Glenn a lot of credit, defensive coordinator for the Philadelphia, or for the Detroit Lions, rather. You have to give Aaron Glenn a lot of credit for how he came in that game and he brought his defense along, and just forced Sam Darnold into uncomfortable situations. And this Rams defense, you have to give them credit for having a great game plan to make Sam Darnold be sacked 9 times, to make him uncomfortable. And now we're questioning. Just 2 weeks ago, we were saying Sam Darnold's that guy. He's going to get paid. Even Troy Aikman said it last night. Troy Aikman was like, the last 2 games that Sam Darnold has played has not been good, and that's going to dictate how much money he gets on the market, and that's going to dictate whether the Minnesota Vikings want to pay him or they want to just let him go to another team, because you have rookie J.J. McCarthy, who didn't play because of a knee injury this year. He's waiting in the balance. And the Minnesota Vikings were really high on J.J. McCarthy. They were really high on J.J. McCarthy, and that's why they drafted him. But when he got hurt, it's like, oh crap, we got to lean on Sam Darnold. And at the time, when J.J. McCarthy, when it was first announced that he was going to be out for the year, they looking at Sam Darnold, and we all like, oh crap, we know his past. We just have to hope and pray that he gives us something. And Sam Darnold, for the most part, he exceeded expectations by far. But these last 2 games, the 2 biggest games of his career that he played against Detroit to try to clinch the number 1 seed, he didn't play well. His first playoff game ever, he didn't play well. They had to throw the ball 40 times, which I think that they should have ran the ball more, and they got too pass happy. That's on Kevin O'Connell. He cost the offense. Yes, Sam Darnold had a good year, but you can't get pass happy, which we talked about this all year with a lot of these teams. When you have good running backs like they do Aaron Jones, and you have Cam Akers, you have to be able to take advantage of that and run the football. You don't have to get pass happy. That takes the pressure off of Sam Darnold when he's struggling and he's not making plays. That takes the pressure off him for not having to throw the ball. Secondly, it's just not really all Sam Darnold's fault. In that Detroit game, the defense wasn't spectacular for the Minnesota Vikings either. In this Rams game, they only gave up 27 points. Okay, that's decent. Not bad. Not great either. But it's decent. Sam Darnold, he's not the only one to blame. The defense was lackluster in the last 2 weeks for the Minnesota Vikings too, which they were great all year under Brian Flores. Mind you, they kind of turned into the defense that they were last year when they were really bad historically defensively with the Minnesota Vikings. They turned it around this year, but the last 2 games, their defense wasn't the greatest either, and neither was Sam Darnold. And if your offense and your defense not going to be great, then it's going to be really hard to win. And a 13-win team is going home now with questions of whether it's Sam Darnold our quarterback, or, do we need to roll with the guy that we drafted in J.J. McCarthy, who we were so high on? I don't know what's going to happen to Sam Darnold. He's going to get paid, no question about that, but he's not going to get paid the money that he thought he was going to get paid. Take it back to 2 weeks, Sam Darnold's probably going to get about maybe 30 to 40 million. But after these last 2 games, you might have to drop that number down a little bit. You might have to drop it down. Now, whatever team Sam Darnold goes to, if he stays with the Minnesota Vikings, I don't know. We don't know what's going to happen. Just 2 weeks ago, I know they were talking about possibly trading J.J. McCarthy. Well, that died down real quick after 2 weeks. So, man, it's going to be interesting to see what the Minnesota Vikings do. We don't know what they're going to do. They don't even know what they're probably going to do. And it doesn't seem like that the guys in that locker room are really bagging Sam Darnold up like they were before these last two games. It's like they kind of iffy, you know. But the Rams, they go on. They're going to go to Philadelphia. They're going to play the Philadelphia Eagles. Do the Rams shock the world and upset the Eagles? I don't think so. But all I know is the Eagles better come with it, though. Because this Rams team, they're going to be ready to play. They are well prepared, well coached. And if the Eagles do not bring it, don't be surprised if the Rams upset these guys. As far as the season being over with the Minnesota Vikings, it's going to be interesting to see what they do, man. It really is. Tomorrow, I'm going to have the Mike McCarthy situation. I will discuss that. I will talk about Deion possibly going to Dallas and why it's not good for Deion to go to Dallas and why he needs to stay in Colorado. I'm going to talk about Mike Vrabel being hired with the Patriots, which we all saw that coming. That was the worst kept secret in football, but I will have that for you guys tomorrow. Anyway, remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know what you think about Sam Darnold's situation in Minnesota, and let me know what you guys think about the Los Angeles Rams winning this ball game. But we're out of here.